Hello. I want to make sure I can see everybody. If you are out there, welcome, beautiful people. Welcome to September Live, our live stream. I want to make sure that this is working. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, I don't see it by your name. How are you? I'm not seeing the blue. Do I have to be on YouTube to see that? Let's see. All right. Can you see me okay? I want to make sure that I am. I go into YouTube. Oh, okay. All right. You guys can see me. Okay. Hello. Hello. I think there's just maybe a delay. I couldn't see all of you. But welcome. Hi, Kay Renee. Hello, Chronicle Absolute. Thank you for checking me out. Hello. I don't see the blue by your name, Kay Renee, but I don't know if it's because I'm in StreamYard or I'm in YouTube. I'm not sure. Oh, good. Okay, good. That's good. Let me know if you're able to manage it because I can't tell from my end, but let me know. Give me a thumbs up or something so I know. But I'm so glad you guys are here. I am excited, super excited about my first live. And we'll be doing this all month, the month of September. And that is exciting to me. Give me 1 second. There are people just trying to contact me. Okay, it is. Good. Okay, good. Okay. So I am, like I said, super excited about going live. I was trying to figure out how I was going to manage my life. It's been an interesting set of months. And so I was trying to get my life right. Oh, hey, Tisha. Hi. Hello. I was saying I was trying to get my life right with just so much that has been going on. And I'm sure you guys know, you already understand. I don't even have to go through the whole gamut. You already understand what life is like. And so I actually was inspired by a mama YouTuber to do live streams because she's rocking it out. Her name is Kay Renee, and I so appreciate tuning in to her YouTube channel. You guys show her some love as well. She's just been such a blessing in being able to see her and her husband who's rocking it out with me tonight. I appreciate you both to be on and just be a part, you know, of doing something different. And I'm about that life. And this actually kind of, although I'm like a little bit nervous because it's the first time for sure, this is more in my wheelhouse because I really enjoy connecting. I enjoy interacting with you guys and really connecting. And that's not something you're really able to do in real time through YouTube. So I thank you guys. Hey, Chris Creative. Thank you for coming in and joining. I appreciate you. All right, guys. So let me tell you a little bit about, thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love my peoples. I love y'all. So let me tell you a little bit about what September Live is going to be, what's going to be going on with September Live. So I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for us to connect as moms, as parents. I'm Z, for those of you that are watching for the first time, whether you are watching it live or you're going to replay it later, I'm Z. I share lessons in faith, family, and fulfillment based on coming out of a full career to then sitting still. We know it's not true. I'm not sitting still, but homeschooling my babies. And I have 3 of them. And so this new journey for me of homeschooling, we are in our 4th year, but I've really been home and kind of grinding for, my daughter will be 8 in a month. And so we've been at this for about 8, going on 8 years. And so I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for me to share live with you guys lessons and things that I've gained as a homeschool mama, also as a mompreneur, and trying to work it out with a business where my children get to be a part of that, while also being able to take questions from you, answer any questions that you have as well, and to be able to connect with you on that level. So I just want to first say welcome to everybody that's in the stream. I do appreciate you, and I am so glad that you took the time out of your schedule to tune in. It really means something to me because I know what life is like, you know, and so just the fact that you guys are tuning in, I really do appreciate it. So I decided that every segment I would like to start off with what's called a mom shine, which is to spotlight a mom and to be able to show some love. I think when we are in the vein of just doing as mamas, sometimes there are things that we're doing that to us is just what we've worked out, but we don't realize how efficient it is and how it can help somebody else. So I know that there are moms out there that are doing it. I know that you may have a strategy, a tool, a plan, a product, a service, something that you are doing that is going to help the world, that's going to change lives. And so I am, every time we do a segment, I'm going to start with a mom shine, where I just really put a spotlight on somebody, some mama that's just doing their thing. And I know we're all doing our things, but I think it helps for us to just lift each other up and to support each other. If I am missing you guys, let me check out the chat for a second, because I switched my screen. I see there's some content. Oh, yes, guys, please do. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you saying that. Yes, girl. Stay as long as you can, you guys. No harm, no foul. If you have to go, believe me, I get it. One of the reasons why I didn't know that I could even do this, because I was like, what am I gonna do with these kids for this chat that's live, you know? But my babies are here. My husband is holding it down. I appreciate him as well. Shout out to my hub, Sean, and for all of you guys. So yes, I would appreciate if you guys thumbs up and show some love, of course, to the channel. I would appreciate that. It really does help. So I thank you guys for that. But I want to get to this mom shine. So this mama, I don't even know her. I actually just celebrated my 40th. I'm going to give myself a little birthday dance. Okay, my 40th birthday. And so my cousins decided to mail me some goodies on my birthday. And so one of the things that they mailed me, and you can see them, I'm always rocking somebody's new earrings. Some mama always showing me some love. But I'm going to shine a spotlight. I'm going to shine, share my screen so you guys can see what I am going to show some love for this mom spotlight. All right. So hopefully you guys can see this, but I'm going to show some live. But this is a mama that is doing her thing. She does handcrafted wood earrings and keychains. And so my cousins mailed me all sorts of these, and I'm going to show it to you. But her name, because I want you guys to check her out, is Designs by Zip. I'm sorry, by Jip, Jip, designs by Jip. And I want you guys to show her some love. She is a mama that's making handmade, wood crafted earrings and keychains. And you may be able to see from the screenshot that she actually took my photos. My cousins gave her photos from my 40th, and she made them into keychains. There's a keychain that talks about teacher, teach, love, inspire. She did me one that says, God says you are. And it talks about all the things that God calls us with the scriptures to go with it. I was like, this is lovely. So I was so excited to be able to support this mama. And then I just went to her IG and realized that she does like my favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys. If it's not yours, you just let me have it for a moment, please. Okay. But she does earrings with like your custom sports, things that, just celebrate and just all sorts of things. She can customize it for you. So you guys check out Designs by Jip, okay, on IG. Show her some love. I really do. I'm really about, people that are doing their thing, particularly mamas that's just out there doing their thing. So I just want to tell her to keep shining right where she is. And if you have a mama or you yourself do something, and it doesn't have to be a product, you can render a service. There is some hack you may have discovered that we all need to know about. Please feel free to email me at drzlessons.com. You can also hit me up on IG, a DM or something, and just let me know who you want to spotlight, because every week for the month of September, I'm going to start off with spotlighting some mama. So be sure to throw me all those mamas, give them some love. If you know somebody that's doing their thing and they really deserve to be highlighted, please send me an email or drop me some message to let me know, okay? Hey! Hello. I'm so glad you're here. I love Help Mama Remote, man. She is doing it with these scripture memories, like memorizing the Bible and like walking people through that process. And so that's how I found her, through looking at, helping my children memorize scripture. And man, you are on it. And she will like recite the whole book, like chapters at a time. I'm like so impressed with that. So I appreciate you being here. And all of you that are here. Okay, so tonight, what we're going to do along the way, you can feel free to drop questions that you have about homeschooling, about virtual learning, about mompreneurship, anything. Ask me any question that you have for me, and I will be trying to look at the chat and answer it. I also received some questions through my IG and also through the YouTube channel that have already been posed. So I will use some of those questions as well. But I thought it'd be good for you guys to get to know me too. So I'm going to try to see how well you know me. So we're getting ready to play Get to Know Z, 2 Truths and 1 Lie. Okay, so I want to see if I put up on the screen 2 truths and 1 lie, how well you guys know me. And you guys will get to interact in the comments, okay? So basically, how it's work. Hi, Jess Living Lights. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in here. I appreciate you being here. So you guys can comment in the comment section. It's going to be a B, or C. You are trying to find the lie, okay? So I will put up 3 statements about me, and you will try to determine which one is the lie. And you can just write simply a B, or a C in the comments and let me know, okay? All right, so let's start off. Let's see. All right, let me grab that banner off of there. Give me 1 second. All right. So the first one is A, I took acting classes in college and have been in a commercial. B, I can't swim. Oh, listen, that's A. Y'all, listen, it's all right. That's going to be B, okay? Don't get confused by that. See what I'm saying? That's going to be B. And C is going to be, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. You're looking for the lie, okay? So of those 3 things, A will be the first one, B, I can't swim, and C, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. Which one do you think is the lie? And the chats may be coming in a little slower on my end. For those of you just coming in, we are doing 2 truths and a lie, and you're trying to determine, okay, I see your answers, okay? I see some B's, some C's, okay? Which one is the lie? I will give you about 5 more seconds. Oh, okay, okay. What? Okay. All right. The lie is, I'm going to highlight the person who got it right. The lie is B. I can't swim. So what's crazy is I can swim, but I learned how to swim at age 38. Okay. And that is because it's a very interesting story. When I was about 6 years old, I fell in a lake trying to be like my sister. So my sister is a little taller than me. You meant B. I see you, Chris. You meant B. My sister is a little taller than me, and every year our family would go to our family reunion at this lake. And so there would be 2 different sides. There'd be the picnic side, and then there'll be the lake side. And usually that was with paddle boats or, you know, smaller boats doing the little rowboats, things like that. So my sister and I were watching the boats go by. And so she decided, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to put my feet in the water. So I was like, oh, yeah, I can hang with you with that. So I sat down and I put my feet in the water, okay? So then I guess she thought she going to one-up me. So she stood up and she put her feet in the water. And so I was like, I can hang with you. So I stood up and I put my feet in the water. Yeah, and that was all she wrote. I slipped right on in. So my sister couldn't swim. So she had to run, and thank God she runs fast. She had to run all the way to the other side of the park while I'm yet a drowning in the water, seeing fish and all, trying to, you know, get my life together. She is trying to get help for me as I am going under. And of course, I'm here, so thank God that my cousin had to jump in and get me out. And I'll spare y'all the details of how I got spanked after that. I'm not gonna tell you that, but I did get in trouble after that one. And so since that, I have loved water. I've always loved water. I love going to the beach. I love going to the pool. But every time I would try to hold my breath and go under, the panic, the anxiety, the fear would come over me again. And so I would just be in this place of, I'm just going to play. I'm just going to play in the water, and I'm going to love the water, but I'm not really going to engage, you know, that sort of thing. And so we were at a pool. We were away from my 38th birthday. It was actually on my 38th birthday. And I was like, there is no way I am not going to conquer this. Like, I need my kids to know how to swim, and I can't get in the pool with them and be like, come on, go do it. You got it. And then I'm going, and I'm trying to find my life. That's not going to work. And so go figure, my husband used to be a lifeguard in his former life. And so I was like, why have I been waiting for like swim lessons? Why don't I just get my husband right now to teach me how to swim? And so that's what happened. We were literally in a pool at an Airbnb, and he showed me like 3 things. And y'all, listen, you can't tell me I'm not Michelle Phelps. Like, I am so swimming and I am loving it. Every time I get a chance to get in the water, I'm like, let me show y'all what I can do, you know, and I'm doing my thing. So I thank God for being able to conquer that fear at 38 years old. So if that is an encouragement, I hope it is to let you know that it's never too late. That whatever that thing is, that hurdle or that challenge that may have jolted you in your childhood, that you indeed can conquer it now. It is not too late. And not only that, it'll be an example for your children. Like, look, mommy at 38 learned something that I didn't know I was capable of getting over. So yes, it was, I can't swim. Now let's look at the other ones. I did love taking theater classes in college. And so I just took them because I loved them, not because it was my major or anything. But I ended up taking so many classes that it ended up being a concentration. So I have my bachelor's is a double major in English and African American studies with a concentration in psychology and theater. And that's only because I just love talking about the mind and acting, being able to be my crazy self, basically. Don't ask my husband to ever quote that, because he keeps it in his phone so that he can remember what my degree was in. So yeah, that's my story. And then yeah, I totally have a love-hate relationship with social media. If I had the ability to get someone to pay someone to do social media for me other than this live right now, I so would. I can't stomach it, y'all. I'm sorry. I love being relational. I love just interacting, just like we're doing right now with people. I love being able to see people in real life and engage with people in real authentic ways. I thank God for YouTube, because I have developed such a strong love for the people in YouTube, because we're such a vibrant community of people just wanting to grow and build. And so you see authentic, genuine people here. So I love this platform. But other than that, I could really do without it. I'm a sucker for authenticity and just meeting people in their real way. And that's one reason I got to shout out you again, Kay Renee. That's one reason I appreciate you, because flaws and all, you like, here I am. And one thing that I was struggling with for going live was like, okay, my kids, man, how they, my youngest, she gonna come in here and say, mommy, I boo-boo, come help me. I just random stuff that my kids do. But you like, look, my daughter about to make a grill. She just had a live, y'all. My daughter about to make a grilled cheese sandwich. And so let me go help her and I'll be right back. I love that. Like, that's so real. Like, life is real in these streets of motherhood. So yes, I do have a love-hate relationship with social media. So yeah, all right. So now we are going to take a break we'll come back to the two truths and a lie. I'm gonna give y'all time with that one. And we're gonna look at questions. And let's see. I'm gonna stop the screen for a second so you guys can see. And all right, so you guys can feel free to drop a question in the comments at any time, and we will go from there. And I had a question that was asked of me on my YouTube channel, so I'm going to go ahead and throw that up, and we'll see what that question was. This one was from 7 in All, and she said, I love to know how you got started homeschooling. And so I love sharing that story, because I am the last person that I would pick to have homeschool ever, like ever. And so some people think, oh, you just love to homeschool. You were a teacher. This is just your calling. I was like, no. So I did teach in the classroom for over 10 years. I taught middle school, and I loved it. I love, a challenge, and I found that age to be kind of challenging. So I was like, yep, this is what we're going to do. And so I did go to school to be able to become a teacher. And then I ended up moving, got married, was in the classroom, and, was enjoying it and all that, doing what I do, loving the journey. And then I had my first child. And I was like, okay, I wanted a baby. So I'm like, here she is, beautiful. We're going to make this work. And so, I, at that time, was totally cool with having her go with one of my spiritual moms, my neighbor as well. So I knew she had somebody to take care of her. I knew she would be in good hands. I wasn't struggling with that. So I was like, we're going to keep working, right? And so I see your question. Yes, Help Mama. I've been homeschooling since the beginning, but officially this is going to my 4th year. So my daughter will be almost 8, but I've been with her she's been home the whole journey. So we've been ABCing it the whole way. So then my daughter began to have some complications with her body. I was nursing her, and she would throw up everything that I would nurse her with. And so we could be somewhere in a store, she wasn't nursing, and we go by a salad bar, she just started vomiting. I'm sorry to be gross, but she started vomiting. And so it was very clear very early that there was something going on with her. And so in between us going to doctor's appointments and try to figure out what was going on, I was still at school. I would go to the job. I was working. I would pump. My husband would meet me. He would pick up the milk, and then he'd go home because he was working. He had a full time, but he had started traveling with a band. So we were making it work. But after some time, we had discovered that she was pretty much allergic to everything. Just think of all of the things, the major groups that you eat. She was allergic to wheat. She was allergic to soy. She was allergic to dairy. She was allergic to nuts. She was allergic to everything that I was eating. Pretty much everything I was taking in, she was allergic to. So her body was really fighting and inflamed with all of that. On top of that, she was struggling with eczema. And so it was very clear very early that we needed to put plans in place to get her help and resources. But again, I was working this full-time job. And if you're a teacher, and shout out to all the teachers, all of you are teachers right now. So shout out to all of you. Then you know that it can get crazy. You're working beyond the hours. You're staying after, you're doing clubs and coming early to be at meetings and all of that. And so my husband decided to go ahead and come off of his job, and he would just do the weekend gig, and then I would keep going with the full-time job. And so we did that. We did that for the first year, maybe for the first 9 to 10 months we did that, because within 60 months, I was pregnant again. Okay, let's just say it. I was pregnant again not too long after. So it was like my husband was good with the program, because it was like he was pureeing her food, and he had developed just this bond with her, and they're born the same day. So that helps. Like, he developed a strong bond with his baby girl, all was well, but then the second one was in the womb. So it was like, okay, what we gonna do now? And so at that point, I was like, okay, I done finished my, while I was pregnant with my son, I went ahead and finished my degree, my doctorate. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready to get on out the classroom. I'm going to go and I'm going to do workshops, because I used to do workshops where I would be able to do, get a little income from doing workshops in schools with teachers and parents. So I was like, I could do this. And so, yeah, that was my plan. And that plan just didn't pan out the way in my mind I thought that it would, because it was slow coming. And if you're a mompreneur, then you already know everything don't just fall out. You got to work the plan. You know what I'm saying? And so while I was working the plan, the bills were still due. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, how we gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? And so I did end up coming off of my full-time job as a teacher, thinking that I was just gonna do my due diligence to be able to start a business and do workshops. Well, the Lord had another plan, which involved me coming home and me spending time with my children. And that became apparent to me because every type of school I tried to get her into, every time I would find a Montessori school or a private school or somebody that could accommodate her allergies, every time I would say, this is it, something would happen to make the door close. It was like there was just no way that it would work out. And finally, the day that I was going to pay tuition for her to go to this school, they called me the day of. It was like, oh, we can't accept her. We have construction we have to do to the building. I was just like, you're kidding me. Like, you're kidding me. And so I went into my room, which I call my prayer closet, and I started to journal, because that's how I reflect. And I found this journal entry that I had written years before I got married, years before I had children. It was when I was just a single woman doing my thing, okay? And in the journal entry, there was a letter to God, and it said, it was actually a letter to my unborn seed. And in that letter, I had written, God, for everything that I pour into other people's children, give me the time and the space to give to my own. So, of course, you know me. You don't know me, but you're about to get to know me. When I'm reading that, I'm bawling. Oh, God. Okay. I surrender. I'll do what you want me to do. I was having one of them snotted, like, just nasty cries, that you don't want to see. You go, and you try to, like, get your breath. That was the cry I was having that day. But it was like, for the first time, I realized that God's plan was bigger than what I had ever intended for my own life and for that of my children. And that there was a desire that was hidden in me to do something that I didn't really know was a desire. I was asking for something that I didn't really know I was asking for. That's why you got to be careful what you pray for. So nonetheless, I said yes, that I would homeschool, but I had no background. I was not an elementary school teacher, never taught elementary school, did not really like little kids. Like, I'm just being real, just the little ones, that really wasn't my forte. I wanted to debate with you. I wanted to hear your mind. I wanted to do critical thinking. So it wasn't even in my wheelhouse. It was like starting from scratch. But that day my husband came home. At this point, he had transitioned to another job in the movie industry. And he came home and he was like, hey, babe, they have all this stuff that they can't claim for assets. And so he was like, do you want it? And I was like, what is it? He was like, they got printers, they got paper, they got bookshelves, they have pens, they got everything. I said, what? So it was like God winking at me, like, okay, the moment you said yes, the moment you gave up your way, here it is. I'm gonna bless you with all the stuff that you need to start. And that's how it happened. That's how I started on this journey. And even though there were days I thought it wasn't gonna last, I have not quit. And I don't see myself, Lord willing, go in another direction, because I have gained so much about me and learned more lessons than I thought I could ever teach any child from my children. And so here I am, homeschool. I know that was a long story, but I appreciate y'all sticking in there with my story. So yes, that is how I got started homeschooling. And I have a going on 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old going on 12 and a half. Mm-hmm. All right. That's right. Here's your school supplies. Exactly. All right, y'all. It's time for another 2 truths and a lie. Y'all get your questions. Think about your questions. Go ahead and ask them, because we'll get to another question. So let me see. Let me try to share my screen again. And let's see. All right. Here we go. Okay, guys, so this is what I realized. When I formatted this, it seems like it is, it have made everything an A. Y'all know when y'all try to do your bullets. So y'all just imagine that you see another letter, okay? If you know your ABCs, just act like you don't, okay? So this one is, again, you're trying to find the lie, okay? So here's the 3. A is, I tore my cartilage jumping over a bike in a bush. B is, my high school principal took away 2 classes so I could return to my middle school. C is, all 3 of my children are named after Renaissance poets. So you're going to give me an A, a B, or C. And remember, you're visualizing that you see the A, the B, and the C, okay? So let's see what you guys think. Yes, K. Renee, God is so good. He really is. Uh-oh. Yes. All right, y'all seeing that, okay? So let me see what y'all say. I think it takes a minute for me to see it on my end. Okay, I see. Which one is the lie? Okay, Tisha, I love you. I understand, boo. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm trying to go on because I'm having a hard time. I see A's, I see B's. I'm trying to go on because I'm having a hard time. Oh, let me pause myself. I'm watching myself. Okay, so for this one, let's see. The answer is, the lie is C. I had to highlight myself because nobody said C. Okay, yes, C. My children are not named after Renaissance poets. They are named after experiences. So my first child is Savai, and I basically was sick most of the first trimester with her, and there was nothing that would stay down. And so a friend of mine was like, hey, come to Savannah and hang out with me. And I was like, sure, I need to get away. And so I went to Savannah, and I stayed at her mom's house, and her mom was making grits. And I'm glad this is not a question on here, but well, it may be, so let me not say that. Her mom was making grits, and And so I was able to eat those grits and they stayed down. And so I was like, a miracle. I was so excited that food stayed down. And I was in Savannah. So I was like, I don't want to name her Savannah because I don't need no long name that can't fit in the test bubbles. You know, on the test, when you go take your test in school, that was me. My name never fit in the bubbles. And so I didn't want to traumatize her. So I was like, I'm not going to name her Savannah. And so I was like, maybe I'll name her Savah. Oh, okay. Then I got home with my husband. He's like, what? And so I had to find something that had some meaning. So we found Savai. And Savai means sunlight or one who saves lives. So that's how she got named. And then my son is Sage. And so we just went to a restaurant and we had come up with some names and we put them on a piece of paper. It was one of those restaurants where you can write like on the table. And so we put like a list of like 4 names and we told the people coming by, hey, can you vote? Yep, that's how he got his name. And they decided on Sage. I mean, Sage was one of our choices, so we technically named him, right? That counts, right? But yeah, I think by him, it was like, y'all so close, I need help. So the people at the restaurant helped me name him. They put check marks, and then that's how we voted. And then my third one, her name means tranquility, so Shiloh. And so that's how we got their names. So no Renaissance poets. I did tear my cartilage, jumping over a bike in a bush at the same time. I was in middle school, go figure, right? Most of my stories stem from middle school. I was in middle school. Yep, so many characters. Exactly. Yes, that's, yep. I got and then it don't help my full name, just about 18, 20 characters. So I like, Lord, I can't do that to my children. So, hey, silly mama for 4. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So I did tear my cartilage. I was very much a tomboy growing up. Whatever the boys was doing, they always tried to make it seem like they were the only ones that could do it. And I was like, no, I can do it too. So they were actually jumping over this bush. And so they jumped over the bush and they landed. And then I was like, I could do that. And they were like, no, you can't. So I jumped over the bush and I landed. And then they were like, okay, we're going to jump over 2 bushes. And so they jumped over 2 bushes. And then I was like, I could do that. So I jumped over 2 bushes and I landed. And I was like, I got one for you. Put a bike in front of the bush. And they were like, oh, no, we're not going to try to jump over no bike. And so I was like, I very much can do this. And so I put the bike in front of the bush. And then I went far back and I did my little, and I jumped and I was hang tight. I had some hang and I landed. But when I landed, it was, and there was the 3 surgeries that I had to have after that. So yeah, don't take dares. And yeah. So that was that. And then, yes, my principal in high school, I had so much, let's see how I can say this, issues, maybe rebellion, or I was just a middle school tyrant maybe. And mainly because I was in so many schools. I've been in so many schools in so many states. I moved around a lot. And so by the time I got to this particular settled middle school, I was really showing out. I was just showing out. Let's just be clear. And so I did so much at that school that was not favorable to the principal, that they had pretty much labeled me. Let's just be clear. They labeled me. They probably thought, yeah, she ain't gonna be nothing. She ain't gonna do nothing. And when I got to high school, me and Jesus got connected. And I really was like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna live this life. And so my life had changed so drastically that they, the schools talk. If you didn't know that, they do. The schools talk, the teachers talk. It's sad, but it happens. And so the word got back to my middle school that I had become this, like, she leading the gospel choir. She's a peer counselor. Like, she's doing all these things. So the principal was like, look, if she can change, like, anybody can change. And so he was like, I'm going to take away 2 of your class periods. And you're going to go back to the middle school and mentor the girls that were struggling and going through like you were. And so that's what I did. During high school, I didn't have to wake up like everybody else did to be at school at a certain time. I was able to report to the middle school and sit in the nurse's office because me and the nurse was tight. And so she let me use her office and I would meet with girls and talk to them about life and, So isn't it interesting how even at that stage, the Lord was like cementing my purpose, you know, some of the things that I was to do with young people. And so, yeah, he sent me back to my middle school and I got credit for that. Like have to be honest, such a hustler. Like I'm so like, how can I get what I need from this deal? So anyway, at that age, I've matured a little bit. All right. So let's see. Thank you guys for participating in this chat. Those of you who are just joining, I appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out with us as we play some games and get to know me. Does anybody, we're back to our Q&A. Does anyone have a question about anything that I'm doing, or homeschool or virtual learning? That's one of those big ones that a lot of us are going through. I know a lot of you are. And so does anyone have any questions related to that? You can ask it and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. If not, I do have another question that someone asked. Let me just trying to navigate. Let me see where I'm going. I don't see how that left and still got up there. Okay, let me stop my screen so I can. Oh, thanks, Kristen. What part of it is amazing? I don't know. Said that is amazing. Yes. Yeah, about the high school, right? Yeah, being able to go back. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of light. To my middle school. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was cool. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we had another question. And this question is from Halima G. And she said, I'm interested in knowing what suggestions you have to keep a 2-year-old occupied during the time I'm homeschooling my 13-year-old. That's such a good question. So drop me a line if you guys have multiple children, different ages. And so I'll share with you what we do in our homeschool, but then I'll also kind of share some tools that I hope will be helpful. So we are a one-room schoolhouse model. Basically, all of my children pretty much are exposed to the same material. And what I've found is that they're being involved in the exposing process is causing them to really be able to use strengths that maybe I didn't know they had, and me being able to see things in them, and them being able to see things in themselves. So when we do math, and this is in some of my videos, if you check out any of the playlists on my channel, there's one particular playlist that deals with tools for mamas. And so in this one, you'll see that all of my kids are on the mat together when we are doing any subject. If we're doing math, for example, I'm teaching or I'm providing some sort of instruction for my 7 and my 6-year-old, but my 3-year-old is right there using the same or similar materials or tools to be able to do her work, even though her work may be something more simplified, like counting or sorting colors, but she's able to be in the midst of us doing it. Now, I am very much aware that with virtual learning, that does not allow for the 3-year-old to be on the computer with the 13-year-old. So that's a very different scenario. So some of the things that I would suggest is, one is children, I have found my own particularly really benefit, yours are the same age, really benefit from feeling like spotlight on me for a moment. And so those smaller children, when you give them even a select amount of sustained individualized time, that's like an ice cream cone with a cherry on top for them. And so they're more willing to be able to do some of the imaginative play, some of the hands-on manipulative things if they feel like they've had a moment with you. So I would suggest give a moment. Let there be something within that period of time that makes them feel like, hey, I am the one that's being focused on. But then, of course, I brought some things that you can use. In our homeschool, we are full of, thanks, Chris Creative. I love you. Appreciate you watching. Yes, thanks for catching the replay. Thank you. So I've got like tools. We use like these little linking cubes, And what's great about them is that you can spend time like putting them together, and you can stack them. They've got shapes. I don't know if you can see how well you can see them, but they've got different shapes on them. They're different colors. I've got all sorts of kinds of these, and these are linking cubes in pretty much in any video of mine. If you look in the description box, you'll see it linked, okay? So my toddler, she will spend time building. If you've got a builder, she'll spend time building. Sometimes she sorts by color. Sometimes she has to put the shapes on each other as she's learning shapes. Sometimes she has to show me that she can count in order, use one-to-one correspondence of 1, 2, 3. And I'll sit her down and I'll allow her to just play, essentially. And there's so much learning that happens through play. You'd be surprised. And so I do that. The other thing that I love is creating household items where your kids can do things without you. Okay, go cook dinner. Hey there, Homeschool Live. I didn't see you on here. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. Go cook that dinner. I had to cook mine before I started this live, so I so understand. I appreciate you, and I love you too. You guys check her out as well. Another homeschool mama. I appreciate you coming on here. I really do. So yeah, so I use manipulatives like fish and oatmeal containers, and I put a hole in them, okay? And then I let my toddler go to town trying to use their motor skills, okay? Those motor skills to be able to put things inside of the hole. So these are fish in a hole. I might put bugs, not real ones, bugs out with the oatmeal container where it has a flap, and I cut out the bottom. So it's like object permanence where it can go in and they can see it, or you can use little balls, cotton balls from the dollar store. But basically I situate them in an area where they are surrounded by games and play. This is another one, Kinetic Sand. That's a big one, okay? My kids love Kinetic Sand. So Kinetic Sand or Play-Doh. Yes, Play-Doh. That's right. So Play-Doh or Kinetic Sand, you get you like a little container like this, and you pour it in and you let them go to town. Man, you can spend all day, the kids can. And then they have like little castles and crabs and different manipulatives that you can use with the sand. But I pour that in and I let them get their hands all in it. Sometimes they like to draw, because you can draw in that Kinetic Sand. You can draw pictures in it. And so it really gives you sustained time with your older ones while they can feel like, you know, that they can be independent, but they love what they're doing. They're enjoying the process, okay? This is another hit in my house. My daughter likes these finger puppets. They're like little puppets that you can put your finger in, and they can play make-believe. And my 3-year-old is very imaginative, so she'll go around and go into different rooms in the house and make up stories and create these experiences for herself and then invite you into them. So she's one of those people that she doesn't have to be like right around you all the time. But I think these are so cute, these little finger puppets. So just things that engage them, obviously with safety measures in place, but where they can feel like sensory-wise, they can attend to all of their senses at once. They can, yes, girl, that Kinetic Sand is life. Go feed the wife. I appreciate you, sir. That's right. Somebody got to feed her. Go feed her. So yeah, but they have to do things to make sure that they can attend and really allow their senses to be activated. And I think for young kids, like my 3-year-old, it's done such a world of difference in her learning, because she's taking in stimuli and she's learning just by doing, okay? So those will be some suggestions for that, okay? You guys have any more? I saw Play-Doh, anything that keeps them active? Absolutely. That Kinetic Sand, it drives me crazy because it ends up everywhere, but they do love it. They do love it. Hey, Ricky, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you joining. Yes. Okay. All right. So if you have, I do sensory boxes. Yes. Sensory boxes are so good. Water stations. Yes. Anything, like I said, that is going to enhance those senses and get them feeling like they are just, you know, going to learn and dive in and activate all of those elements of learning. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, Katie. Okay, I've got another question. Let's see. I have a 5th grader that struggles with confidence and it reflects in the class. How would you go about handling this? This is so good. I love that question. I have like a whole series I want to say on building confidence in young children. So I will try to link that in the description box of this replay. So I want you guys to check that out. But I did something just today, Katie. So I'm so glad you're tuning in, first of all, and asking that question. First of all, my children, from the time that they were probably about three, talking age, okay, where they could really verbalize things. I'm sorry, my hair is doing a little thing. When they could verbalize, I would have them to repeat affirmations after me, okay? So in the beginning, I would give it to them, and they would say these affirmations at the dentist's office, at the doctor's office, at the post office. They would tell your affirmation, just tell who you are. So they would say their name, you know, and then they would say who they are based on some script that I had given them, right? And it was usually things that were very simplistic. I'm God's masterpiece. We would always try to start like that. I'm God's masterpiece, or I'm God's child. I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm creative, enough for them to handle. And then every day when we would start, before we would start our day, that's what they would speak out. And I would also create one for myself, okay? And over time, what begins to happen is that, now in the process of doing that, okay, this is something that I think is critically important that I did with my children that I feel like has helped. We would read literature about some of those struggles, because it's one thing to say this is who you are. It's another to understand in those moments when it doesn't feel like this is who you are, how do we identify it? And so I would just get books from the library and spend money. I would just go to the library and I would get character books. And maybe the book was about a dog who was struggling with confidence, or who was struggling to be brave, or who was struggling, another character may have been struggling to love themselves. You know, there are great, and I'll drop some suggestions of literature out there through, you know, I'm thinking you said 5th grade, with that can be those things. And I'm sure you guys can suggest some as well. But we would read a piece of literature, and I would create this chart that was called the superhero chart, I want to say. And anybody that wants it, just send me an email and I will drop it to you guys. One of my live streams, I'm just going to show you guys the printables and tools that I have. And if you want them, you just have to drop me a line. These are things that I create for my children and for anybody that can use them. But there would be this sheet. It was a superhero tracker. That's what I would do. And I would put it on the wall. And after we read that story, we would spend that week just focusing on that one area. Maybe it was not being afraid. Guys, I'm struggling. My hair just taking over. Not being afraid, right? So we would read books about children or characters that had to face some fear, okay? And why do you do that? Because sometimes for children, when they have to experience it themselves, it feels monumental. It feels magnified. It feels huge to them. I'm the only one experiencing this. But when you read about different people and different characters, it softens it for the child, because then they're like, I'm not the only one. There's somebody else that has gone through this. Even if they had to write about it, there's somebody else that's going through the same thing I'm experiencing. So let's say it's a fear of something, for example. And so then you read those books. And so on the tracker, every time you see your child trying to do that thing, and you ask them, you said, we're going to work on this week. You know, when you see them doing that, you point it out. Children benefit from being told when they are doing something that they themselves may not recognize that they're doing. And so those nights that my son didn't want to sleep in the dark because he was fearful of that, but we've read these series of books that dealt with that. And then in those moments where he's like, Mommy, I'm going to try to do it with the nightlight, whereas before you couldn't turn his light out at all, right? That's progress. I'd be like, you were so brave when you did that. And what do? We write it on the tracker. So then, like, at the end of the week, he's able to see opportunities that he had to show that he had that particular character. What did that do? That built his confidence. So when you build confidence in one area, then you have the tools to build confidence in other areas. And so that would be my suggestion, is to affirm and not just speak it to your child. Because I know a lot of us will say, you're beautiful, you're talented, you're gifted. How come you don't see it? But actually have them to speak it. Actually have them to vocalize it, to hear themselves say it. And then, of course, if you are, you know, someone that backs things up with scripture or the word of God, it's great to have that as an element too. This is what God says about you. Let's read this scripture together. You know, that those stories and that literature was a big piece with them seeing someone else. And then one of the final things I would say is we would role play We love role play in my house. And role play would be in scenarios where you feel like you don't have the confidence or you feel nervous. My son asked me today, go figure, my 6-year-old, Mommy, are you scared of doing the live? And I said, I'm nervous. And he was like, but you don't have to be afraid, Mommy. And I'm like, no, I'm just a little nervous because this is the first time that I'm doing it. And he's like, do you realize who you are? And I'm like, is this 6-year-old about to school me on what confidence is? But I know that that was because he's walked out the journey of having to work through his own confidence and lack thereof, or fears or anxiety about something, okay? And so, so I would say that when you are struggling in the sense of confidence, that's what I would be. Now, when it comes to the classroom and how it is reflecting itself in the classroom, that's a very, very important thing, because that can materialize itself as a behavior issue, or you just don't want to, I'm bored, so I'm not going to do it, right? And so one of the things that I would suggest in that is making sure that if you're able to talk to and verbalize and vocalize to the teacher, and I know we're in strange times, the ways to empower that child in terms of encouragement. And it can be little things. It can be little things like, oh, you know, I can see that you're really attempting to answer the question. I appreciate that. Or speaking life into them, and being able to show them that their ability to get attention does not have to come from the lack of confidence. In other words, I'm not seeing that I am good enough, so now I'm either reserved, I'm not giving you anything, or I'm doing the reversal. I'm just gonna act like this class ain't important to me, right? And so I think it starts at home though, guys. I really have to stress that the more that we can do to expose them to understanding that part of what they go through, even in our own development, is learning to feel confident. There is a theory about confidence that when you master and you get the tools to stretch a child to master something that they're good at, then you're able to then expose them to something a little bit more, and now they can work toward mastery of that, and then they build another confidence. So it's like we want to give them opportunities to grow, and sometimes that's hard because they're like, oh, that's hard, they don't want to do it. And so I always say, easy plus one is a phrase we say in classical learning, which basically means have your kids do something that they're really, really, really good at in the beginning of their day, like something that automatically for them is like, I shine in this, okay? For my son, that's reading. Give him a book, he'll go in a corner somewhere and be lost. So he's really good at reading. He's really good at telling you about animals, right? But other areas that he may struggle in may be math. It may be the handwriting piece. So we don't do math and handwriting first. We go to the confidence areas first, because what are we doing? We're infusing them with, this is the thing that you do well. Now use that same energy that comes from you being able to apply that. Now we're going to apply it to something more challenging. And that's how we grow them. And that's how we grow ourselves, by not staying in the same place. So I hope that answered the question. I hope that was useful. I would love for you guys to put out some more. Of course, I love that. Encourage them when they do well. When they don't, encourage them too. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like that. Yes, speak it. The words of children are so amazing. Absolutely. They will speak. I'm telling you, that's how I'm learning. Most of what I've learned has been from the things they've spoken to me, that has encouraged me. There's another thing that I have that I'll drop for those that are interested, like I said, in the comments and tools for confidence as well. That's my forte. I love infusing confidence in young people, guys. This is just the thing that I really, really love to do. So I'm grateful. Thank you, Katie. I hope that did help. Thank you so much for your question. That was such a good question. And I think too, the ways that we show them ourselves when we struggle. I am a firm believer in vulnerability, that when we can show our children that we are struggling in something, and we're not all together with everything, then what is it teaching them? That they don't have to be perfect too, okay? So that is, okay, we have another question, good. Would love to hear how you incorporate your business along with your daily tasks. Yes, 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 yes. So my business, by the way, is I direct a homeschool community. I essentially have a business where families pay tuition to be a part of a homeschool community. We meet weekly, once a week, and I'm able to hire mamas and dads but parents have to come with their children, and they are able to receive modeling of instruction that is very simplified and engaging and fun. It's just fun. That's the best way to say it. It's fun. It's a fun way for kids to be able to learn and get information, but tutors model it, which are also moms. So it's almost one of those things where it's like reciprocal. The mom is also the tutor who's then able to pour into their children. So it's like this cycle of things that works really, really well. And so then they are able to model that, and then the parents are able to go home and implement it for the rest of the week. And then they come back, and it's like they get their next dose, and then they go home and they implement, and then they come back, and you get the idea. So part of that job for me means that I have to be able to manage the business, which includes the supplies, which includes communicating with families, which meant this summer heavily being on Zoom calls because we weren't meeting right away, being able to equip and bring tools and to be available to serve, essentially. And so that was an excellent question. How do I incorporate that with my daily task? Is I have learned, and I had to learn the hard way, because I am one of those people that I will just do if you let me. And I come from a background of families that we're extremists. And we do everything to the extreme. So if it's bad, we do it to the extreme. If it's good, we do it to the extreme. And so because of that, I had to struggle through being a workaholic and doing everything and trying to put my hands to everything and being burnt out and not giving anything good to anybody, to now being able to prioritize my life based on my values. In a nutshell, I prioritize my life based on my values. So what that looks like is I determined every year I look at what are the 4 value systems for which I live my life. And so my 4, for example, are my faith, the truth, which is God's word on any matter. God don't say it, I don't even take it as anything but another person's opinion. So the truth, my family, integrity, and financial freedom. So those are the 4 areas for which I navigate my world. So how I do that is every day I set up blocks to fuse those value systems. So my blocks basically allow for me to say between this time and this time, the focus is only this. So between 9 o'clock and 1, the focus is only my children, family, homeschooling, okay? So that means getting up, getting dressed, breakfast, all of those things. And that time is only allotted for that. So that means that in that time, I'm getting things done that are of value. If I don't get it all done, if I forgot to drop a line, if I didn't get a laundry load in, or I didn't get through the full day of curriculum, okay, that's gonna be all right, because we did things that were of value to us during that time. My 5 to 7 o'clock time is self-care. I had to create it because I'm not a morning person, but once my day gets going, there is no care for me. Once my day gets going, I am constantly being pulled every direction. So I had to train myself to get up and spend time journaling, getting in my word. And it doesn't matter if I wake up late or oversleep. If that's the block for that, I'm going to get me something in. If it's a smoothie or if it's a word, I'm going to get it in so that I can manage my day. And so what I have found is, instead of making all these lists of this pouring of things and then feeling overwhelmed, if I make blocks and I say this block is dedicated to business, then I'm only going to focus on business. During that time, my children do quiet time. So I implemented quiet time, which basically means every last one of us need to debrief, because we've been in each other's face all day, and who got time for that, right? Everybody needs a woosah moment in life. And I find that my daughter needs time to be by herself and do the things that she loves. And my napper, my 3-year-old, she's napping during that time. And my 6-year-old gets the imaginative play in his room by himself. But everybody goes to their corners of the house. And that's usually my dedicated time to focus on business. That's the time that I can do things related to editing or YouTube. It's the time I can do things related to responding to parents, putting out resources for my families, buying supplies, working on bookkeeping, all of those things. And so I try to separate my life into blocks and try to manage those blocks to the best of my ability, really with God's help. And most times I'm not managing them well. but I'm doing the best that I can with what I've been given. So I would say that would be my best answer, is just being able to not overwhelm myself by endless to-do lists, and instead to dedicate what's valuable. And then I know when I lay my head down at night, I did things that were of worth and not just things that, were on a list because somebody said I was supposed to get these things done. And so I try to create systems where my children can self-manage. I talked about this, that within 2 months, 3 months ago, I created a meal plan system where they go to the door of our pantry. Everything is laid out for 2 weeks. They get choices. They know what they can have. They know each day. If it's not up there, they mad at me. Why don't we know what our meals are? Just be like, wow. So I get to do that. That helps me to shop in advance and shop in bulk and not be overwhelmed with, do I have this in the cabinet? Do I have that? Do I have these things? That actually allows me to budget and save, because one of my values is to get out of debt, something I acclaimed and acquired through just error, all kinds of faults and student loans. So there's a desire of mine to be financially free. So all of these things play into managing my life so that I can see those things come to fruition. Does that make sense? I hope so. I said a lot. Y'all, I like to talk. Yes, I see that. Self-management is key in my household. Yes, absolutely. It has to be, because otherwise we'll be depleted. And I find that we're the last to see ourselves as the first. We're going to be the last ones as mamas to put ourselves first. It's just how we are. And so unless we schedule ourselves in as first, as priority, we can lose ourselves. And if we lose ourselves, our children suffer, our families suffer, because they don't get the best of what God put in us. And so I just find that I have to make priority for the things that I say are important. And so that's how I try to govern it. All right, y'all been with me for a minute, y'all. Now, hold on. I appreciate it. Can I just say I appreciate you being here? I really do. I love this. I love this. Who is this? Let me see. Because sometimes I'm not led to get to them when they want something. Yeah, exactly. And guess what? They'll pull on you because that's what they're supposed to do, right? They're dependents. That's why we claim them on our taxes, because they're dependents. So their job is to depend. And so, there are times when I'll tell my children, didn't I just feed y'all? Can mommy eat? And they're looking at me like, is that what you're supposed to do? Are you supposed to eat? Like, so if I don't make me a priority, they're not going to be like, mama, go eat. Now lately my daughter will make me a little breakfast or something like that. But I'm like, I have to see it as valuable because they're not in a position to see it. You know what I mean? And so until I can make it a position for them to see, then I have to make room for it. And so I try to do that the best that I can, of course, with error most days. I tell my family it's important that I have my mommy time. That's right. Quiet time is a must in my house. Like, if we don't do nothing that day, we do quiet time. And everybody knows it. Everybody is fully aware of it, And then there are days where my toddler will go to sleep and my son and daughter are like, mommy, can we join each other? Yep. Y'all can come together now. That's fine. But it still gives me my time. Today I took a nap. I sure did during quiet time, because we had a full day of schooling and mommy was tired. And so during quiet time, rather than putting a load in, rather than sweeping, mopping the floor and all the other busy tasks that we can consume ourselves with, I took a nap, and it was a good nap. And so we're all right, and we're better. They're better because of my nap, because then I'm not, you know how we can get. Okay. So, okay. That's good. Okay, you guys, I won't be on too much longer. I think we got one more, let me see, about me, the 2 truths and a lie. But I love you guys' questions. They're so good. They are so good. All right, this one says, let me see. Where'd I go? I think I done lost it. Okay, there. This one says, I sat on hold on, guys. I'm trying to get my stuff hidden. What did I do? Okay, can y'all see that? Because I think I can't find where. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let me turn my banners off because I got a lot happening. All right, so I sat on an alligator in Ghana, West Africa. That's A. B, I prefer the social scene over social distancing. And number C is I had my first paid job at age 11. So what y'all think? Yes, naps are so good. That quiet time is critical. Okay. All right, I see some coming in. Y'all all over the map. Okay. All right. So the lie is, y'all ready? B. I'm getting y'all with these truths and a lie. Yes, it is most definitely B, guys. I know it seems like I am an extrovert, and I am an extrovert, but I love being home. I honestly love being home. I love just being able to be in. I really try to create my home as a safe haven. And I just think sometimes when you're in the world, you have to just contend with whatever the world brings. And so I don't like really being in that social scene for too long. Like I get my dose of it, you know, if I'm going to an event or I'm hanging out with mamas or my friends or I'm doing a church function or, you know, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely prefer this time of social distancing has brought such clarity to me. You do know me, Ricky. Yes, you do. It has brought such clarity to me. I was sharing with another mama today that, you know, because of, don't get me wrong, I am definitely in prayer and I am definitely travailing when it comes to all of the things that have affected, not just the world, it's affected my family. It's hit close to home. I have an aunt even right now who had COVID and she's in a nursing home. So it's definitely hit home and I don't wish it on anybody. However, I do also see where the family can be restored through this social distancing. And it has allowed me to reconnect with my best friend, who is my husband, in ways that we have not been able to because life happens and we're busy. It's allowed me to attend to my children in simplistic ways. And like speaking of Ghana, I used to live in Ghana. I did a study I did a university study while I was living in Ghana when I was in undergrad, and I got to live with a host family. I really call them my family, but I got to live with a host family for over half a year, and my host family had it made. Let's be clear. My mama, she, you know, middle class. She owned like restaurants and a bar was attached to our house. It was just a very nice place, okay? But it was still in the heart of, you know, you had, I call them dotes. They're dogs that look like goats, but they were running around. The chickens were still running around. You know, you still had dirt roads and ditches I fell into a couple of times. You still had all that going on, but it didn't matter what social status it was. When it didn't rain for 2 weeks, we had no water. We could not boil our food. We could not wash clothes. We could not bathe. So something as simple as the rain was imperative to our way of life. So everybody was affected by if it didn't rain. Everybody was affected if the electricity decided that it wasn't going to, you know, come on, wasn't going to act right when we were out of electricity for weeks, okay? So what did that teach me? It taught me the simplicity of life because I still had to turn in papers. I still had to do work. I still had to read books. And so I had my Victorian style candle and I'd be over here trying to write my papers and read my material. And so when I think about COVID put us all on equal playing field. It said, listen, what are you going to do now when everything is stripped away and you have nothing to lean on? What are you going to lean on? You know what I mean? And so it lets you really evaluate and see what is it that you really rely on? Like, how much do you really rely on that social event or that social club or church or the physical house of church, and not having that within your home? So it allowed me to rebuild and to see things for what they really are in my life. It's been the most reflective period of my life. It's also been very busy because a lot of mamas are like, I ain't putting my kid in school. What can we do? And so I've had to talk to a lot of parents, and I've been super busy, but it's also been the best time for organizing and decluttering and talking to my children at another level, having more bonding moments, you know, spending quality time with my family. I have really thoroughly enjoyed that. And so if I had to choose, it's definitely the social distancing has helped me to be able to just be like, whew, I'm in my house. I ain't got to go nowhere. I can stay in my pajamas if I want to, you know? So I really do enjoy my time I do at home. Don't get me wrong. I've had an itch now. You know, I've had itches where I'm like, I just want to go somewhere. I need a hotel because I just want to be able to put the kids to the side for a second and do something, you know what I mean? But yes, let me see what you guys are saying. So you stumped me with that because you said you like to talk in first. I just do. You were extrovert. I am. I am an extrovert. I really am. I'm a people person. But I love being able to just be by myself. Can anybody else relate to that? Like, I enjoy time to myself. I enjoy being able to just kick up and watch a good movie. I enjoy being able to just be alone. I don't know. I do, but I do like people too. I see it too. The family church can really restore at this time. Yes, absolutely. Yes. And we can reevaluate what we put our faith in, because it's like, who you really believe? Because your faith gonna be tested when the storm comes. When everything was great and you had on your Sunday best and you headed to the church house, all is well. But now in a time where everything looks like it's upside down, God's like, what you really believe? Do you really believe what you say you believe? And so I feel like it's an all-time time of being tested in what we say or who we say we are, you know, for those that believe. And so for me, it's been like, all right, God, I see you. Let me see. Yes. Let's see what you said. What did I win? Girl, I'm going to get you a super pack. One of my resource tools. You just got it. Look at that. You asked. You have not because you asked not. You're going to get a super pack. Look at that. You probably already have it, knowing you. Katie, you said me also. Is that you that you like? Does that mean you like being home? You like being able to chill and not be out and busy? Like, y'all, I ain't really been in the stores. Amazon getting all my business. I really need some stock because I don't really go to the stores. I mean, I'm like, I don't want to be around people too long. I know that's bad. That's bad. Please explain A. Okay, yes. Let's talk about A. So I lived in Ghana, West Africa, and there was this river river, I don't know, but we were traveling, a group of us were traveling, and there was this group of kids and they were swimming in the water with the alligators. And I was like, okay, I'm clearly seeing something, like something ain't right about this picture. And the alligators would be coming out the water and the kids were just like, woo, just swimming, okay? So there was this guy there who was saying that the alligators were domesticated. And so he was like, basically from birth, they've been in that water with them kids. And so my kids wouldn't have been in there, but you get what I'm saying? So the guy brought them out and it was like, do you want to sit on it? I know. I think the side of me that was like, I get to go to Ghana. I'm here in Africa once. I don't know when I get back. I'm just going to do something crazy. Then I'm in my 20s too. So when you're in that age group, you do some stuff that you probably wouldn't do now. And so he held, like, I don't know if it was a bird or what he held in front of, like dangled in front of the alligator to get it to stay still. And so we took turns. And guys, I was trying to search for the picture. A friend of mine who went with me, she showed me her picture, but she can't find mine. And so I don't know if I even still have it, but I'm going to try to find it. And maybe at a later date I can post it. But yeah, so I sat on the alligator, y'all. What was the other one I said? Oh yeah, had my first job at age 11. I was living in Ohio at the time. I've lived a lot of places, but I was living in Ohio, and my 6th grade class, they had to nominate somebody to, at that time, the Board of Education found that they had all this representation of parents and teachers and on these panels, but they ain't had no students' opinions. So my teacher selected me, and this was the teacher that I had a hard time with in elementary school. I mean, like, she was mean. She was mean. Let's be clear, she was mean. And so it was like anything I did was a problem. And I was a talker like I am now then. And so she didn't want me to talk, but I would find ways. I said, what would you like for me to do? What would you like me to do? You want me to do my work? So I was that kid that would do my work and then be like, so now I can talk. In my mind, that's what that meant. So now I just start talking, then I get in trouble for talking. I had to stand up, stand on 1 foot, stand on 2 feet. Okay, not 2 feet, but y'all get what I'm saying? And so she always had an issue with me, but she selected me for the role. I was like, did she see something in me? And so I got to go every Saturday to the Board of Education meetings. And I got to give now I know what we was doing. I sat at a table with a whole group of grown people. I didn't know what they was talking about. I just act like I was listening. I was probably doodling. I don't know what I was doing. But at the end, when I would go out the building, they would hand me a check for $25 every Saturday. Boy, you couldn't tell me nothing. And then at the end of the summer, we got to go to a hotel and stay in a hotel. Your parents could not stay with you. What? I said I was in the 6th grade. My mama could not stay with me. She could drop me off, and we stayed for 3 days at a conference, and they paid us, I think, $500. That was my first big check, $500, and I'm in the 6th grade. Y'all, I'm telling you. So anyway, I just thought I was doing something. I was 11, and I was living my best life. I think I bought my first bike with that money. So that was that one. Let me see. Just kidding. Domesticated alligator, exactly. Yes, absolutely. Love that experience. I think you're talking about Ghana, a life-changing experience. I don't know about the alligator, but Ghana was a life-changing experience. Yes. So yeah, that was those. Okay, guys, I want to see that was the last one. Let me see what this one. Okay, this is the last one, and I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. If you have any more questions, just drop them now while I get this last one out. Okay, let me take A off the screen. So this one says, I made a girl cry on the merry-go-round. B is cake, jello, pudding, and oatmeal makes me squirm. And C, let me see, I'm gonna have to look at it because I don't see. Let's see. C is my picture was submitted as a double for the singer Brandy. So that's A, B, and C. Let's see what y'all think. I see it too. The family church community story. Yes. Fine. All right, what y'all think for that one? Oh, Katie. Kay Renee says C. B, but it sounds like they are all true. That is too funny. Okay, y'all. Did everybody answer? All right. The lie is. Dun, dun, dun. Uh-oh, not C. That ain't it. Sorry, wrong person. A is the lie. A is the lie. Okay, so this is another interesting story. I was probably about 6. I was in day camp, and I agree with you. I was at day camp, and I was a little scrawny girl. Like, I was the girl that my family threw on everyone. You saw Ricky said A. Not B. Oops. I was the scrawny girl that they threw on top of all the other kids, all my cousins. I have a big family. So I was just really small, and I was wearing hand-me-downs. And so the girls, for the most part, used to pick on me. Okay. So it was older girls, probably about 2 years, maybe 2, 3 years older. Okay. And so this particular day, we were at the park at the day camp, and my brother, who just kind of imagine, he had a full gold tee at age 11. So when we were in school, they thought he was my father. That's my brother for you. So he loomed tall. And so nobody used to kind of mess with me. Yeah, you know about my textures with food, Ricky. You sure do. He used to be on the other side of the park playing kickball and all of those things. And so I would be with all the girls, you know. And so we were on the slide. And you know how you would have somebody between your legs and y'all could go down the slide together. So I had a younger girl in between my legs, and we went down the slide together. But when we got to the end, we went down so fast that she hit her head on the slide, on the bottom of the slide, the rock. There was like this stone at the bottom. Well, she started crying, but she wasn't on the merry-go-round. And her cousins were all there, and they decided to torture me. So they actually put me on the merry-go-round, and they told me I had to say I was sorry 100 times. I want y'all to imagine this. They are turning me around this merry-go-round like fast, all of them. You know, when all the kids are rolling that thing at one time, I'm dizzy, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, 100 times. I don't even know if I got to 100. I was probably at 1,000. I said so many times. I felt like I wanted to throw up, and I was just sad, just crying. Well, lo and behold, my brother shows up on the scene, okay? And so he's like, everybody, he don't even say nothing. They see him, and everybody like scatter roaches, right? So they see him, and they're like, she shouldn't have made my cousin this, that, and the other. So he pulls me to the side, and he's like, all right, this is it. I'm like, this is what you mean this is it? He was like, I'm not going to always be here. You're going to have to defend yourself. I said, now guys, I'm like all of probably 5 or 6 years old. Just let me note that again. I said, who do what? He's like, he says to the girls, who is the biggest and the baddest one out of all of you? I'm like, he is sheer out of his mind. What is the matter with my brother? And it was this girl named Ra. That's her nickname. So, and so she basically was like, all right. And so he said, yeah, you're going to fight her. And I was like, no. And so I know how cruel, so mean, right? And so they put us in a circle. So everybody's surrounded around us, and we're in this circle. And my brother's like, nobody better jump in. And they're like, oh no, we ain't got to jump in. Ra, she just, she ready to pound on me. I'm just like, oh gosh. And so I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't. And my brother's like, you're going to have to defend Ra of all things, right? I got a funny story, and then we'll let y'all go after that. So anyway, he's like, Ra, okay, come on. So I don't know, y'all, but I think there is something that happens when you have built up, and I know the role of being bullied, but when you've built up that kind of frustration inside of you, even at 5, and you don't realize what's in you. When I tell you I wailed on that girl like she was a piece of meat, like, I mean, down on the ground, like going at her, like I think I blanked out. Like I think I literally blanked out. And so, of course, I never had an issue again with that whole crew after that moment. But that also kind of started me on this road of fighting. So I don't know if that was a good thing, because after that, then I'm fighting. I used to fight to take up for people after that. Isn't that interesting? So I was fighting boys, just craziness. But I blame my brother to this day. And then when I turned 40, this is the last thing I'll share. When I turned 40, my family found my preschool teacher. So fight or flight. I know, girl. My family found my preschool teacher, you guys. Okay. So she came on a Zoom call for my 40th birthday, and she remembered me, and she's telling me like all the ways that I was and how she saw certain things in me, even when she was my preschool teacher. And I was just like, what? So on that call, I told them the story about this fight. Do you know Ra is her cousin? Wait a minute. You can't make this stuff up. She was like, oh, that's my cousin. I was like, there is no way that Rara is my preschool teacher cousin. So I thought that was just so funny. But yes, that was my first fight, being bullied and crying on the merry-go-round. What was the other one on there? Oh, Brandy. Okay, so this is funny. From the time I was in probably 5th, 6th grade, all the way through high school, I got called Brandy. To the point that I would be in the supermarket and people would stare at me and be like, and I would be upset, like, why are they staring at me? And then they'd be like, can I get your autograph? And I'd be like, no. Now, see, I don't see it. But even when I met my husband, he saw it, and half the world, I guess, saw what I didn't see. And it was because I used to wear braids too. And so they just thought I was Brandy. So my manager at the time, I used to be in the singing group, another story altogether. And so my manager at the time decided to take a picture of me and send it to America's Most Wanted. You can't make this stuff up, I'm telling you. Because America Most Wanted, if something happens to a celebrity, they're looking for the double. They're looking for the lookalike. And so he decided, should anything, God forbid, why was he wishing something on Brandy? I'm like, come on. Anyway, should anything have happened, he felt like I would be the perfect double to be able to play her. And so he sent, you see it, Katie, I don't know. I'm looking at you. I'm giving you the face, talking about you see it. And so he put my picture, he sent my picture into America's Most Wanted. That's a true story. So yes, you guys, I am so like elated that you guys hung out with me tonight. It has been good. This was my self-care for tonight, believe it or not. So I thank y'all, because I miss being able to talk and connect where I'm not talking in kid language. And so I appreciate you guys showing up and hanging out for this long, man. I do appreciate it. Next week I'll be back Thursday at 7:30 with another game and another topic for us to go over. And you guys, of course, are welcome back. I hope you'll share with others who may just want to connect and hang out. We will have another mom spotlight. So again, if you know a mama you want to spotlight, shoot me an email. I just want to say thank you, to make sure I saw all the comments, that I didn't miss anything. For you guys showing out. I had such a good time laughing and sharing my crazy life with you guys. And more than anything, I just want to encourage you guys to go ahead and have time for laughter. I just think laughter is just good for us as mamas and as women, just to be able to unwind and to get a little moment to breathe. And those of you who are in this game of social distancing and virtual learning, I just want to tell you that you are not alone. And not only are you not alone, but you have an opportunity to see your children, and don't get caught up in all the rah-rah of what's happening with the school system. Everybody, just like I said in Ghana, everybody is experiencing this pandemic. And so we all need grace. We all need the opportunity to believe that we can endure and get through this together. It's okay if you feel like you're going out of your mind, because some days you will. And just know that your children are more resilient than you think. There are things that I see I've gone through my life as a kid, and I'm like, how do we make it through that? Because we're much more resilient than we think. We'll make it through, and we'll just do our best to love on them and to love on each other and encourage each other through this process. So having said that, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you. I really do love connecting. And I thank you guys for your support of me and my family and this channel. So love you guys. I had a blast. Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad. Oh, that's good, Katie. I'm so glad. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Bye-bye now.